Hello and welcome. Thank you for watching. In this video, I'm going to be demonstrating how to complete the solo zero-day mission in Greyhack, the game. I just want to emphasize before we get started, this is for a video game called Greyhack. This is not real hacking. There's no real info security, no real techniques, nothing like that. This is just for a video game. So if you're here looking for something real, this isn't it. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started. For this, I'll be using my own tool. It's one that I've developed. I call it Hex. It's it's available if people want to try it, but it's not. It's in progress, so it's not really finished or polished yet. But it should be good enough for this. So I'll go ahead and get started. I've already done the first part, the very simple part where you just get the partial IP address. I've replied to the rumors email with my partial IP address, and I've now gotten the complete address for the mission that you have to do to get the full, the remainder of the partial IP address. So you can see here, this is the partial that I got from my first mission. If you are working on this with somebody else, when they do their part, if they happen to get the other 2 octets, um, you'll have the completed IP address. You don't have to do this next bit. But if you're working on it by yourself or, with somebody else and they don't have the full address, this mission is an alternative method of getting the completed IP address. And you can do this bit on your own. So let's go ahead and get started. So just do a couple of little preliminary things here. Set up my R shell server. It's already set up. I'm just getting it ready in the tool. Set up my proxies. And there we go. Okay. So we have this IP address. Let's take a look at what ports it has. Okay, we've got port 0, port 80. We've been instructed to look at this, that we may find something of interest on 192.168.2.5. And there are no open ports on that computer. So let's go ahead and hack into the router. Hopefully that'll be something we can do quickly, or easily rather, and then that'll be how we get access to that other computer. Okay, we have a guest shell, root file, guest shell, that's enough. I'll swap over to the guest shell. Hex has a tool built in which brute forces the root password. So that's what you saw here in Hex. It's a command called sudo. Hex also has a utility in it for generating rainbow tables for basically every or most every password that an NPC might use. So that's what the brute force does. It just goes down the list. So we now have a root shell. If we were to go to this address 192.168.2.5, we would find some logs maybe. Like a chat log that indicates, maybe where we should go next. However, on this stage of the 0-day, we can actually find the next address in the router logs, usually. So I'm going to go ahead and download those. Let's just see if that contains our next step. If it does, we don't need to go to this address. If it doesn't, we'll go here and see what we get. So there's the log file, and it looks like, yeah, we have an address there. Connection routed to, and then an address from this other address, 172.168.1.6.3. What usually happens if we were to go to this address, 192.168.2.5, it would have a chat log in it that then led us to another address inside of this network. That other address would be this 172 address, and then that would show us, we would have this IP address in a chat log on that file as well. And just, I guess for the sake of demonstration, I'll go and we'll just take a look at that just to verify, what I've just said. So to start, I'm going to nmap again from inside the network. You can get a much more complete picture of the network from inside. You can see we have more computers on it now than we did previously. And we should have 168.2.5 up here. We have 2.8 right there, and here's 2.5. It's running a SQL service, which we appear to not have access to, but that's okay. We don't need to. We can do what's called a bounce. If you're new to Greyhack, this technique is going to be one you're going to use many, many times during the course of your Greyhack, playing, I guess, is anytime you need access to a computer that doesn't have a service running or doesn't have an open port, you can use a bounce exploit on a router to gain access to it. And so that's what I'll do here. I'm going to run jump. Oh, apparently I broke jump. Let's see if that works. Yeah, I'll have to do it that way. Okay. And then, so what a bounce exploit is any library with a computer vulnerability on a router, if you exploit that vulnerability in that library while it's on a router, you can pass in a third parameter, which would be a LAN IP address. And the computer object that you get back from that vulnerability will actually represent the system of the IP address that you pass in, rather than the router that you're exploiting. So doing that, you can usually read, you can always read the file system. You can always read usually the mail.txt files. And that's enough to be able to send the funny game social engineering email, which will give you an R shell, a reverse shell. And that's kind of how you can get access to the system. It's also, you can use an R shell sometimes if you have a guest access. You can use an R shell to escalate to user access, because guest is enough almost always, or maybe always, to read mail.txt. So, but okay, so to do our bounce exploit, I'll do hack-l, and hex, that's hacking the local libraries. It'll run through all of them, although I don't, strictly speaking, need to, because I could just upload a poison library that has bounce, root shell or root computer bounce exploit. And in that case, I would actually know the memory and value, so I don't necessarily have to do all of them, but for the moment at least, hex scans all the libraries. All right, we have our bounce exploit. It's this one here, number 7. Swap 7, decipher all. Okay, so we have some users. We have 2 users, which is good. You need 2 to do the funny game email. Again, hex uses that list of passwords for decipher. It only uses the crypto decipher function as a fallback if it can't find it. So that's why it was so fast. There was no loading bar like you would normally see with decipher. But let's go ahead and send our funny game email. Run mail.exe with the -login flag. That opens up a login prompt and a root mail.exe, in case you're ever wondering. You can click this button here in the mail. It says log into a different email account. But if you do that, it doesn't open as root. Even though this one was running as root, this one is not running as root. So I like to do it this way, because that way I can send attachments and stuff. Let's see, we've got that email and we've got that password. Email and password. And there, we're signed in. We'll do the social engineering, funny game. We'll send it to this guy. And then I need my R shell server address. Right there. This is all stuff I've already set up ahead of time. It's set up and configured in my tool. But if you don't have an R shell server set up, you would want to do that prior to doing this kind of mission. All right, so they just said I just ran it. I hope it's gory. I like to delete the emails and responses. Doesn't matter. So now if I run R shell, I should have a new R shell entry here. Actually, I have 2. This one is from the final network. This I already have the completed IP address for this network. And so I've already gone ahead and gotten my 0-day credentials and all that. This is my R shell on that network that's running on the router. I use it to grab some player IPs and mess with, it just keeps my access to that network. Lets me get some player IPs, lets me, do some other fun stuff. Yeah, so I'm not going to clear that one out. But this is the new one. This is the one I just added. So we'll swap to that. And again, I will run sudo. That'll get me root. And then let's just take a look at what's here on this computer. You'll notice I have not cleared the logs yet on this system or on the router. On this kind of mission, it's dangerous to clear the logs until you're sure you don't need them. Because oftentimes you have to, you have to look at them. Like you'll need something in the logs to get to the next step. So if you clear the logs like immediately before you happen to, grab a copy of them, then you may, kind of just lock yourself out of completing the mission. And nobody will be able to help you because, the mission is generated specific to you. It's the same mission every time for everybody, meaning the steps are always the same. But the actual addresses, usernames, emails, passwords, stuff is specific to you. So just make sure you're not, clearing the logs too liberally. Make sure that you're all the way done with them before you delete them, because that's the number one reason people fail to complete these is they accidentally delete something that they need, and then it locks them out, from completing the mission. All right, so we have some files here that may be of interest. There's a chat log. We've got system log. That's probably it on this computer that might be useful to us. There is an employee viewer. So employee viewer is pretty handy for figuring out usernames and computers, like which user goes to which computer. It may also have email. I'm not sure. Doesn't really matter. But I'm going to go ahead and download those chat logs and the other log. I'm going to download all the log files, and then we'll take a look at those. Hey Mav, welcome. You probably saw in Discord, I'm just going through the solo 0-day mission real quick. And I am streaming this, by the way, so it will be recorded and put on YouTube at some point. Okay, so...
I'll get back to you when you're done with that, then.
Okay, no problem.
Thanks, yeah.
So, let's see. Where was I? Oh, right. Downloaded some log files. Let's take a look at what we got. So we have chat log here. And this has an IP address. So like I mentioned before, this is going to lead us to another computer in the system. You'll notice this IP address that it's leading us to is the one from the log on the router that we saw. So I will read through this just to kind of fill you in on the lore here. So if we look at this, it says, hey, this is getting way too blatant. Cookie and Aniako submitted my report but signed it under his name. I had it saved on my computer with a password, and I always lock the office. This is the third time he's done this. And then Marion says, have you talked to him? He's literally stealing your work. Crepe says, yes, but he's gotten too close to the boss lately and told me I'll lose if I say anything. Basically, his word against mine. So this is, I guess, a coworker who's stealing another coworker's work. Marion says, but you must have the original document saved somewhere. With that, you can prove you wrote it. Crepe says, it's no longer on my computer. He deleted it. I don't know how he did it. Marion says, don't you have a backup on a flash drive or something? Crepe says, I didn't think of that. Always good advice, by the way. Anytime you do anything that is worth keeping, save it somewhere. That goes for Greyhack as well. If you have source code, save it out of the game in case you get hacked, so you don't lose it. Marion says, after the second time, you should have thought of it. That's a pretty good point. And Crepe says, so now it's my fault, huh? Well, kind of, Crepe, but hey. Marion says, I didn't mean that. Look, he must have the original document saved somewhere, right? Crepe says, I guess it's on his computer at 172.16.16.3, but I have no idea how to access it. Well, Crepe, that's okay because we do. Although it's not going to do you any good, it will help us. So, Let's copy this, and if I go back and look at my Nmap, we should see that computer on there, 172.16.16.3. That one is on there. It's also running 2 different employees databases. That's odd. I don't know why you would need it twice. But again, it's closed to us, it looks like. So let's go through and let's just see. We need access to that. So let's swap back to the router. Swap back to the router. Which one is that? The router is number 5. And we'll do our bounce again. So hack-l. This time we'll put in that new address. All right, and let's take a look at what we find there. So new bounce, number 10, swap 10, and let's see what we get. There's a chat log here as well, so we'll take a look at that. Let's also look at the system log. You know, we didn't look at the system log from the other one. Let's look at that real quick. Okay, nothing there. Let's download, so we need a shell on this computer, so I'll go ahead and rshell this one again. Same steps as before. We have email address and password, so let me pop that up. Get the email address here, and the password here. Okay, and then we'll send it to this other account. I think is this that's the same one. Is this Aniako? Is that the guy that we were just? Oh, he mentioned it. Cookie Aniako. Yeah, that's why. Okay. All right, so we'll send it to that one. Go to funny game. Copy that address. And rshell port. Send the funny game. All right, just ran it. Hope it's gory. I don't know why I get so much amusement out of that. The funny game email response. It's just kind of hilarious to me. By the way, welcome Sisyphus and Kat. Going through the solo day or the solo 0-day mission. I'm also recording this, so it will be on YouTube eventually. But I thought I would stream in case any of y'all wanted to watch it live. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so we have the new rshell. If I run this, I should have the new rshell available. And there it is. It's number 11. We'll sudo again to get to root. And then let's see what we have on this computer. We did this already. We have a chat log. I'll download the log files. Go find the new target up here. This is 172.16.16.3. Let's look in the system log first. I think we have that same log here, right? So this is the same as what was on the router. So when I mentioned before that we don't necessarily have to go any further once we have this log, but I wanted to show that it's the same information there. And then if we look at the chat log, we'll see a reference. Basically the other side of that interaction, like, hey, I'm stealing this guy's work. What a fool. Charissa, girl, I guess. What a fool Charissa Krep is. No, it is a guy. He's been doing my work for a couple months now until he gets fired and your easy ride ends. Well, it'll last as long as it lasts, blah, blah, blah. This is all just flavor text, doesn't matter. I'm wondering if there's anything in here that is relevant. It'll last as long as it lasts. I'm also doing this as personal revenge. What you're doing seems a bit too much, and it might end up blowing up in your face. And honestly, I'd say you deserve it. Oh, well, thanks. You're probably right, but I don't care. It'll be worth it. Your call, just out of curiosity, how are you doing it? Doing what? What do you think? Accessing Charissa Cripp's computer. Oh, well, let's say I have some help from a friend who works at Neurobox. This is interesting information. If you don't want to tell me, that's fine, I get it, but don't make up nonsense. I'm serious. I pay him some money to filter me certain evil little programs. He works in the security section, and while they're fixing vulnerabilities they discover, he passes me these programs that work until they're patched. Well, those sound like zero-day exploits. That's interesting. That's what we're doing, is looking for how to get those. I think I shouldn't know so many details. Better if we talked another time. So, okay. Well, the key thing that we needed was this address that we got both in the router log and also in the system log on this computer. And so I just kind of wanted to show you how to, that you end up having the same thing, whether you actually go to this address or whether you just look at the router. So now that we've done all of that, I'm going to go ahead and clean up a little bit. I will clean the log here now. And then I'm also going to clean up my R shells. Number 9. Oops. There we go. And I think that's it. I would normally just clear them all out, but I want to keep that one that I mentioned previously. So, all right, and then let's go through the shells real quick. I should write a tool that just cleans the log on everything I have in the stack. That'd save me a lot of time, so I don't have to do this constantly. And that's probably all of them. Well, I'll go to the router. Do it to the router too. So let's see. Where was the router? Number 5. Okay, and then clear out my stack. And let's see what we get at this next address. So in the next address, start with nmap, same as we did before. And by the way, these missions, that's all they are. It's just a series of steps, like one network to the next network to the next network, until eventually you find something that completes this partial IP address. All right, so we're in the next network. I'm gonna just hack into the router. We don't know, unlike the previous network where we kind of knew which address we wanted to look at, in this new network, I don't know what computer to look at. So we're just gonna kind of look everywhere. So I'll start with the router. I have written a couple of little utilities into Hex that make it a little bit easier. And we have a guest shell, which is great. That's what I wanted. So let's go ahead and switch to that. And we'll get to root. Oh, I went to the wrong one. I thought I went to the right. Yeah, there we go. Sudo to get to root. I'm going to download the log just in case, although usually it's blank at this part. And you can, I guess you can see these IP addresses in the folder names. Streaming mode doesn't work super well. Yeah, these are just my own logs. So, okay. However, I do have a fun little utility here that I wrote in the last few days, which will actually use that concept, that bounce concept that I mentioned previously, where you can kind of get computer objects for, for any LAN address. It basically just goes through the entire list of computers on the network and is able to get some information for all of them, for the whole network. So I've written a couple of, oh, something went wrong here. Did I break it? That's interesting. Let's try this one. That's not enough of those. What did I do? Oh. I think I broke it. What an awkward time for this to be happening. Alright, I'm going to RShell this because I have to exit my script and come back in to recover from this error. I've seen this happen before. Not totally sure why I need to do that, but Okay. And we're back. I forgot about that. Let me try that again. That's very odd. Alright, well, let's see if we can do this the hard way. On this section, oh right, I gotta restart the tool. Whole tool breaks. I don't know why that is. I think it's because it dumps my get custom object or something, which Hex relies on heavily, so not ideal. But I RShelled it so I can get back in easily enough. Now I'm really curious to know about why that didn't work. I wonder if I can see the problem real quick. What did it say? It was failing on matches? That's gonna be here, I think. Somewhere. Yeah, right here, I think. Maybe. Could also be here, I suppose. Let's just find everywhere I'm using it. Oh, maybe this may be what the problem is. Right here, I think. Because I don't think this is defined anywhere. I think I need this to be file.getContent.matches. I must have left that out when I was fixing something. Have I done that anywhere else? I don't think I've done that anywhere else. Let me just double check that. Apparently you don't use this very often. The matches piece. Okay, I don't think I've done that anywhere else. All right, let me rebuild. I'm going to build this real quick and let that pop back into the game. By the way, this is a demonstration of why Graybell VS is the best. I have something like 48 source code files that Hex is composed of, and it would be a giant pain in the neck to have to copy and paste those all into the game. So, quick shout out for Graybell VS and VS Code, because that just automatically compiled Hex for me in game. We'll start it up. Alright, grab that RShell again, and we'll get back in there. Hopefully it'll work this time. I don't know when I broke that. I've been using it all day. Must have made some quick change, I thought, and then done it poorly. Okay, so I should be able to just run that. And what this command is meant to do is it should highlight and show. God dang it! What are we doing? Functions.sourceLine 851. I'm going to figure out what this is. Bear with me here a moment. Sorry, folks. Line 861. The line numbers are probably wrong, but it should give me an idea anyway of where it is. Yeah, that looks. Oh, you know why? I actually haven't tested. I don't think I tested this part. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I believe. Yeah, I don't think I've. No, I feel like I've seen this working. I don't know. It's definitely this part though. It's trying to pull out an IP address from either sources.txt, which is where apt-get repositories that live, or browser.txt, which is where saved web addresses would go. Oh, this is probably why here. Yeah, that should be fine. I'm going to go back to the real file. This is the build file, but it is exactly where I thought it was, so. What's the error it's complaining about? Matches requires a string. I guess. Maybe I need to fix my permissions here. Or fix my grouping here. Because what could be happening is we have a sources or browser.txt file, but we can't read it, and in that case, get content would not be a string. But we're running as root. We should be able to read everything. Unfortunately, I don't know which one of the actions, but it's got to be this line, right? Because it didn't have that in there before. Well, let's just add a. That should mitigate that, I guess, if that's actually where the problem is. All right, build this real quick. Again, I apologize for the little hiccup here. I swear I've been using this like all day and yesterday, and several of the prior days. Okay. Grab that R shell. And surely this time it will work. Let's see. Son of a biscuit. How is this not working? Now, this doesn't even look like it's. It's really pissing me off. Is it this one that's not working? Might be this one that's not working. This is completely unrelated code, so shouldn't have anything to do with it. Alright, I'll try that. I'm about to crash out. What if I do, I wonder if I can do, oh, I gotta forget it breaks hex when I do that. Fix it the old-fashioned way. Because there's only 3 places in this code where the matches function is even used. I don't know which one of them it's breaking on. So I just put a bunch of print statements in there, see how many of those we get through until it breaks, and then that'll give me an idea of where the problem is. I'm betting I think it's this, it's got to be this line right here is my guess. And maybe I should have probably printed the file name here too. Actually, I think I will. Or I guess I'll do it above, yeah. Do that here too, just because it could be a couple of different files here, so. And you could do this, I mean, it's possible to solve this without this particular functionality, but I don't want to have to bounce into every single computer on the network to find the one that has, you know, the apt-get repo or the browser.txt file that I need. That would take forever. I mean, this is kind of taking forever too, but at least this is time that I won't have to spend later. let's see what we get. And I know you, by the way, you may notice that there's an error every time I run this. It's more of a warning, I guess. Okay. So, okay, interesting. It was after that on sources.txt. So it's in here. This is the line that's breaking. Which is strange. Shouldn't be breaking. Oh. Oh, okay. I'm kind of dumb. Yeah, eagle-eyed viewers might have spotted the problem here, but you'll notice these two lines are not doing the same thing. In this line, I'm accessing the index. In this line, I'm actually calling the matches function. So the simple thing to do, I guess, would be to just, oops. Simple thing to do would be to just go like this and put that in there. No, except I copied too much. There we go. And that should work. Because I have to run the whole regex match again to get the map. But I kind of don't like having to do that again. I think what I'll do is put that in a variable. And then we'll do the same thing down here. Okay, that is probably better. Let's give it a shot. And for those of you watching, Kat, you're probably laughing your ass off at me. You've known me a long time. We'll just pretend I didn't spend 10 minutes trying to solve that problem. Probably more than 10 minutes. Okay, start the proxy. The R shell. And this time, with any luck, it will do what I intended it to do many minutes ago. Although, well, it worked, but I apparently forgot to take a print statement out somewhere. Just do that. I'm not going to recompile it, but yeah, right there. Okay, so this is what it's meant to do, is it gives me a list of all of the non-standard files on every device in the network. And then in the cases of sources.txt or browser.txt, which might contain IP addresses, it actually prints those out for me. And that's the next step of this. So, well, sort of, that's the next step. So we have a computer on this network, 192.168.4.6, and it has a sources.txt file that contains an IP address. And that's unusual. NPC networks typically will not have IP addresses in their apt-get repository lists. So let's see what's over there. So I'm going to bounce into that computer because that's the one that's going to have what we need. So I'll do hack local. Let me clear the logs first. Since we know this log was empty anyway, it had nothing in it. I guess I should clear the logs after I do this. Since this is going to generate a whole bunch of new ones, although they should just be the only IPs in them should be this network's IP, so it shouldn't matter, but okay. We'll go to that new computer from the bounce. It's number 7. Let's do, I need a shell, so I'm going to do the R shells, except I forgot to, here we go. Okay, apparently one of these passwords, I don't know which one of these, was one that was not contained in my password list, so that's why we saw a decipher bar there. Eventually I'm going to update the decipher code in hex so that it automatically updates the password list if it finds any that aren't in it. But I haven't written that yet, just because it's going to be kind of tedious to have it figure out the file numbering and all that on the fly. So it's on my list. Okay, we've got that. Here's the password. And we'll send the funny game email to, oh, this is the same user. Interesting. This is the same user. So that's another way to look at, to try to figure out which computer to go to. I'd kind of forgotten about that. The user that we found on that first network, the one who's been stealing that other guy's work, Aniako or whatever his name was, it's going to be the same user in every network in this mission. So you could use like an employee viewer or something to just find which computer he's on. You just find that user in the employee viewer and it'll show his IP address. That's another way we could have done this. I'd forgotten about that. It's the same user in every network. But if you're able to just look at every file in the network, then you don't even have to do that. All right, got that sent. Just ran it. Hope it's gory. I love that. I hope Crow never changes that wording. It's just so hilarious. All right, and there's the new shell, number 8. Sudo to get the root password or root account. I'm going to download all the log files, although we don't need them. Although I think there may be some more kind of lore, I guess, in it, in one of the chat logs on this computer. So we'll take a look at it. But the key thing is that we know that this user has a repository that is not standard. So we'll take a look at what's in that repository because it might be of interest to us. So let's look at the chat log on this. This is 4.6. So we do have a chat log. This is, okay, I don't really understand how it works. I thought it was going to be a website. Eric says, we use a repository that's more discreet. You should already have it set up. So we've discovered that. That's the IP and the sources.txt. All right, but I still don't know how to download things. First, use the command apt-get update and then apt-get install to download the program you want. Oh, got it. I have the list here. Perfect. If you need anything else, let me know. Okay, thanks. Okay, so somebody else is instructing this Aniako fellow how to use apt-get, but if you're watching this video, presumably you already know how to use apt-get, but it's not anything we didn't know. So there's a repository on this computer that has something special in it. So let's take a look at what's in the repository. Okay, let's look at the repository. What am I trying to do? Okay, I need to, one of the things that Hex is not the best at right now is I don't have an easy way to run the update command. I didn't think I would need a separate command, so there's the separate one. So what I'm going to do, let's see. Oh, I need to jump out first. Yeah, we don't have an apt-cache.bin because we need the update option. And I don't have a command in Hex to just manually update it. So I think what I do is what I've done in the past, and I should really just add a little flag for apt-get to just manually do the update. But I do have a command in hex that just automatically finds me a Hackshop IP address, and my add repo command does run the update. So what I usually have done is apt-get -a, and then I'll add a Hackshop, which will run update, and then I'll remove it because I also have that built in. So I'll remove that same, and then that will. So now I should be able to do apt-get show, apt-get list. There we go. Perfect. So there was a bug that was fixed just this morning, actually, that caused these networks to generate incorrectly. This is what we're supposed to see. The repository that's in the sources.txt file is meant to have only these 3 files on it. And there was a bug on when this mission was being generated previously. I'm sorry, there was a bug that was causing these networks to be generated with either an address in the sources.txt file that wasn't a repository at all, or it was just a normal Hackshop and not the special one. Normal Hackshops have these 3 files, but then they also have a whole bunch of other things. These files are special for the 0-day mission. So in order to get the next step, there's something special about these files. Let's download one and see what happens when we run it. And typically, by the way, well, let's download one and see what we get. So I'm going to clear the logs on this computer. Well, I'll download it first because I want to just show what's in it. I think it should have nothing, or if anything, it's just got me in it. Yeah, just me. So, not just me. This is, no, this is not just me. On port 22. Is that an IP address we already know? Yeah, that's the address we came from previously. So 210 dot whatever. I know you guys can all see this. Streamer mode has failed me. But hopefully y'all won't hack me. I've cleared logs everywhere, and if not, you're just getting my proxy. So, but in any case, these are not useful IPs for us. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe the logs on this computer, and then let's go ahead and install one of these programs and just see what we get. I'm gonna download password file because I think I'm going to use Decipher. Decipher's maybe not the best one, actually. I'll use Scanlib. Scanlib will work. So, Scanlib. Where does it put it? I think I have it set so that it goes to the default location in bin if I don't specify it, but I may have also done it to where it goes. Oh, this isn't. This is not a file explorer on the target. This is a file explorer on my computer. But I did just run tree, didn't I? So where did we put scan router? Scan router is okay. So it must have gone. Yeah, I think it puts it in bin. This is me wondering what my own code does. Oh, Scanlib. Here we go. Yeah, it's in the user's home folder. So wherever I'm running. Yeah. Okay. So. Okay. Well, that's fine. So let's run that. Now, this is an interesting thing, right? We downloaded Scanlib from the repository, attempted to run it. If you're familiar with Greyhack, you've been playing Greyhack for a little while, you should be familiar with Scanlib. This is the utility that you would use to find vulnerable or vulnerabilities in a library, like typically a local library, you would scan the library and it would spit out. I don't remember what it does by default. At least it gives you the memory addresses. Might also give you the unsafe string values. I don't recall. What it most definitely should not be doing is complaining about a missing meta-exploit library. So that is something to note. So let's see if that means anything. Because you know what else requires a meta-exploit library is, R shell, some other stuff, nefarious things. So let's see if the logs have anything in them now. Let's see, we're on 4.6, right? So if I look in the system log now, did I not download a new one? Do I have to do this with a sniffer? Or do I do it on the router? Let me switch back to the router real quick. What should be happening, by the way, is we should get another entry in the logs, because that program is meant to reach out and phone home. So let me, but I don't remember which logs. It might be the router logs. So let me pop over to the router real quick, download that log file. Because in the log file on this computer, it was just the same 2 entries we had before, and it should have been different. So let's see what we get here now. This is all me. It's all my activity, I believe. Actually, I'm going to clear this log and then try that again. I didn't do it before. Include the log on this computer. And then I'm going to delete these files just so I can be absolutely sure I'm downloading new ones and not re-downloading the same one. I don't need that anymore either. Okay. So scanlib /init.so error missing meta exploit library. Let's download the log. New system log. So it didn't, oh, actually that's useful to have. It didn't generate a log file there. Let's swap over to the router, see if that has a new log file. And this one doesn't have a new log file either. All right, well, let's try this the other way. The other way to do this is with a sniffer. So I'll go back over here. I'm going to put a Hackshop IP back in there, because that's, I don't actually have sniffing built into Hex yet. Again, something on the list. So I'm just going to use the default sniffer binary obtained from a Hackshop. So apt-get-a, we'll update, and then, oh, that's interesting. That address is not a Hackshop. Or maybe it is. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, that didn't like that Hackshop, so I need to make some refinements to my IP generation stuff as well. That should have been, I don't know why that one popped up, because it's supposed to already be not only checking that it has an open port 1542, but that it has Hackshop binaries available at the repository. So it shouldn't be possible to get an IP address that isn't a repository or a proper Hackshop, but I don't know. All right, apt-get install sniffer/bin. And then I'm going to remove that repository, because I mean, it doesn't matter. I could leave it, but I want to be able to see just the just these things in there. All right, and I'm also wondering if maybe if it matters where scanlib is. So let's see if I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna put it in the /bin folder. Shouldn't matter. The only thing that should matter is whether or not there's a meta exploit in the /libs, which there probably wouldn't be. All right, so let's do that. I'm going to run another terminal because I have to run the sniffer somewhere. So let's rshell this computer. Oh. Oh my gosh, I need to fix that. That was annoying. Okay. We've got an rshell. Oh, I don't actually need that. Run hex over here. Actually, I'm going to use this as my permanent terminal once I get this going because it's newer. Fix that errand print statement from before. Oh, actually, never mind. It's not. I haven't recompiled it, so whatever. Okay. Collected our rshells. This is number 7. Oh, I do need meta exploit. Okay. Put that hack shot back, I guess. Install meta exploit, and then we'll remove it. I'll leave it. It does not matter. No, I'll remove the hack shot. Yeah. Okay. Now, there we go. Got the sniffer running. Let's try scanlib again. Actually, I'm going to not that it probably matters. Okay, scanlib /lib/init.so. There we go. That's an odd thing. Look at that. Why? Oh, it's scanning. Connection refused. Target's behind a firewall. But look what we have over here in our sniffer window. We have an IP address, a port, and some credentials. That's useful. We don't care about the actual output of scanlib, although I apparently have to let it finish. Okay. And now, if I download that log file, I think probably the reason it didn't work before is I actually did need to have that meta exploit running. Or not running, but the library needed to be in /lib, which is what the error told me. I just didn't think it mattered. I thought it would do this bit anyway. But I think if we look at this log file now, yeah, we have. Oh no, that's me. That's my log. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, I guess we do need the sniffer because it didn't generate a log for it unless it's on the router. Oh, I just did that, huh? Let's see if it leaves a log on the router. This is, yeah, we just did that on the router. Let's see if it left a log there. No. Okay, so the only way to do it is by sniffing. I thought it would leave a log, but I guess it doesn't. So I guess I got to move that higher up in the list of things to do for hex. But this is the next step. This is where we need to go. So I'm going to leave this up here for now because I've discovered if I copy and paste this IP address into a text file, streamer mode will not block it. So we'll leave it right there. And I'm going to clean up after myself a little bit. Clean the log here. Clean the log here. Clear out some R shells. We'll remove 6. And we'll remove... that's the only one, actually. I don't think I need to remove any others. Sector C. I should only have 1 now. 2. Alright, so I gotta remove... What's the other one? Oh, 6. R shell dash R6. Sector C. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now we can move on to the next network. That would be this one here. Start with Nmap. We already know the port we want though, which is going to be port 21, so 10069. But just for fun, I'm going to pop into the router and see if my little net tool shows us anything of note on this network. So this is going to be number 6, sudo to get us to root, and net. Oh, big network. Wow, a lot of files. Okay. So there's a hack shop here, or this is just a regular shop website, it looks like. That's why we have all of these files. These are present on normal shop websites. We've got Nmap, a bunch of binaries. We do have some chat logs here. Another shop computer. Odd. 2 different computers in the same network running a shop site. Don't see that very often. Or maybe you do, I don't know. I haven't been looking very long, so... this little like net utility that I'm using, I just wrote this a couple days ago. So prior to this, I was a little bit more focused and haven't explored the networks as fully. But we got a lot of chat logs. This news Rees file, we see those constant. They're everywhere. If you look, it's kind of interesting. It's about this fellow Rees that's gone missing. Not relevant to this mission. Some more chat logs. Another shop website. That's crazy. I guess some redundancy there. And another shop website. But we got a lot of chat logs. One of these will be the computer that we want, which is the one that port 21 is going to. I'll just show that Nmap again. Port 21 is going to 10069. 10069 has only a chat log on it, but that's fine. Let's go there. So get back to here. Oh, and we had the user too. The user would also give us an indication. What did I do? Can't connect. Do we have firewall rules in the way? What do you mean you can't connect? Target's behind a firewall. We might have to bounce. Yeah, okay. Well, we have a router, so let's just use a bounce, I guess. Or maybe I can do it from in the router. Let's see if we get the... which one was that? 10069? Is that what we decided? 10069. Yeah, target's behind a firewall. Okay. Well, so we got a couple different options here. We can either remove the firewall. I've already hacked the router on port 0, so there's no clear firewall exploits there, or this wouldn't be a problem. we could try hacking some computer with a browser. So the router doesn't have a browser, but these other computers will, and then manipulating the firewall rules on the router. Although it's possible, given that this is a whole different IP scheme from the router's local address, it seems likely these may be behind a switch, in which case, yeah, I wouldn't think so though. They shouldn't show up as open if they're behind a switch. So, I mean, I guess we could run Scanlan and see what we get. Just kind of give us a picture of the topology of the network a little bit. Let's do that, because I'm curious. We do have to be careful, you know, running a GUI program could trigger the admin, but it doesn't seem to have done so in this case, which is fortunate. 10069, there is a hub in the way, but that doesn't do anything. Another hub, it looks like. We do have this switch, I think, is on the same, yeah. No, it's not, different subnet. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I don't know if that it would be affecting it or not. But that's the only one that's got any kind of firewall rules, and this one, I guess, also. As far as I can tell. That's what these little padlocks mean, firewall enabled. But these are both switches, and I don't think switches run... I don't think you can disable firewall rules on a switch. I don't think they have the interface like a router would. Which means we're going to have to use a bounce exploit to get to this computer. But that's fine. We have them, so let's go for it. Hack-L 10.0.6.9 is the computer, pretty sure. Yeah. So that'll get us our bounce. We do also have a username, so I mean, we got a lot of different options here. We can R shell them just based on the username, because we know the domain of the network. You know, Nmap will show us the domain of the network, so we could simply R shell them with the username. Or, you know, we'll have this computer, this bounce exploit option. You could also change the IP, you know, get access to another computer on the network, and, you know, not a router, but you could, any other computer that's not a router or switch or a piece of network hardware, you can use ifconfig to change its IP address. You can put it behind that same switch. That one's a little bit lesser known. I don't think people realize you can do that, but yes, you can do that. You just make it 10.0.6.50 or something like that. Put it at the same, you know, give it the same gateway, and it'll be in the same subnet as that computer. It should be behind the switch. That's a lot of work, but you could do it if you had other options. But since we do, what was I doing? Yeah, look for the bounce. So we have a bounce on number 7. Decipher all. This will give me the credentials. We got mail.exe. And we already know this is the user we want to get, so I'm going to assign it to this user's email address so that eventually the R shell will be run by that other user. And we'll do funny game, get this email address, R shell info. All right, now we should have a shell for that user. Okay, that's number 8. And again, I'll sudo to get root. And then let's see what we have. So I'm going to download all the log files because I don't remember what the next step is. This might be the last step, or there might be one more. But in either case, we may need the log file. So I'm going to download it before I corrupt it. We are in this network now, 20.whatever.whatever.whatever. So there's nothing in the log file. We do have a chat log. Let's see what's in the chat log. Chat log says everything is ready here. Incoming connections are working. So this would be the person who gave that repository to the user on the previous network. So he's talking to somebody else saying that whatever he's doing, that hacking he's doing with the binaries in that repository, that it's working. And then he's saying, I'm moving my stuff to 10.0.6.10. And then Benedict, some other user takes over. I don't know what that means, but this is another local address we want to look at. So I'm going to go and we'll switch back to the router. Is that it? Yeah. And we'll do the same thing. We'll get a bounce for this new address. And we'll see what's there. All right, so we have our bounce, new bounce rather. So swap 9, again, decipher all. This is the user I think he mentioned in his chat that user was taking over. I don't know what that means, but so we'll send the funny game to this user now. Now I've still got my mail window open from before, so I don't need to repopulate the funny game IP and other stuff, which is nice. So I'll just put that in there and hit send. Just ran it, hope it's gory. And we'll get the new R shell. Okay, the new R shell is number 10. And we'll sudo to root. And let's see what we have in this computer. This is one of those shop sites, although that I don't think matters for the mission. We have a chat log and system log. All right, let's download the log file. So download startup log. Okay. So now we look at this new one, 10.0.6.10. Let's take a look at the chat log. Okay, so I hope your source is reliable. So far it hasn't let us down. I have more contacts we can use if they catch him and fire him. We're keeping an eye on him. He works on the network, followed by an IP address. I can't tell for sure because this is streamer mode, but I think possibly this address is the completed address from our partial before. If so, that's it. That's the end of this mission. We've completed it. I'm going to paste it real quick outside of the game and then verify that it is in fact the correct address. But I believe that is the finished 0-day network address. And it is. So yeah, that's it. We did it. Good job. This is the end of the single player solo person mission to complete this address. The next step for the 0-day, if you were going to do it, is you would hack into this network. The original chat log from the very first 0-day mission included a username along with this partial address. So you would hack into this network. You would hack into the email for the user whose name was mentioned in that first chat log. And then basically what you would need to do is find on that network there's some other user that if you log in and you send a social engineering email from that other user to the user whose username was mentioned in that first chat log, he will send you back a set of debug credentials that you can then use with the debug lib objects in Greyhack. And you have to choose, it's one of the social engineering templates. You choose either the it's under control or the not being taken seriously one. Those are the two templates for the 0-day. If you send the wrong one, you'll get a specific message back. So that's how you know you've got the correct from address and to address. You just pick the wrong one of these. If you try to send one of these to any user that isn't the correct 0-day user, they give you a completely different response. Basically says, I don't know what you're talking about. you know, kick rocks or something. I don't remember the wording, but basically it's pretty distinctive to be able to say, like, you know, what's the correct from address and what's the correct to address based on those things and a couple of other hints. The other thing is, you know, the correct from address will be one that has a particular email in its inbox from the target user. No, when I say target user, I mean the person whose username was in the chat log from the first step. So you can also look for that. And then once you have those debug credentials, there's a few different things you can do with them, but that's kind of out of the scope of this video. So if you're still here with me, thanks for watching. I really apologize for that hiccup in the middle where I was figuring out how I wrecked my own code. But you got to see a little bit of the debugging process with me. Hopefully that was not as boring as it probably was. So in any case, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.